exactly what they are doing. This is a pufferfish. When threatened, it releases a neurotoxin. Dolphins figured out that a small dose doesn't kill you. It just changes your perception.
Look how high he is.
So they bite it, gently, just enough. Then they pass it to their friends.
The puff passing is insane.
Scientists watched an entire pod take turns with the same pufferfish for 20 minutes straight. They weren't hunting it, they were sharing it. After contact, dolphins float near the surface, barely moving, staring into nothing.
You don't think of dolphins as junkies. Stuck.
They are the only animals besides humans known to seek altered states.
You think of dolphins, you think of intelligence, complex communication. You don't think of junkie. Reason I call them junkies is how many of these fools did they send in to die so they could figure this formula out just to get high? It's always something new with these niggas. Listen to what these damn dolphins is doing.
These dolphins know exactly what they are doing. This is a pufferfish. When threatened, it releases a neurotoxin. Dolphins figured out that a small dose doesn't kill you. It just changes your perception.
Look how high he is.
So they
Good morning, y'all. Welcome to the channel. It's just Rhonda. I'm over here watching these dolphins do things that the people do. I just wanted to start there because it's Thursday. It's the end of the week. Good morning, Lotus Egyptian Flower. I got to go back behind the chair tomorrow. And I was just like, yeah, let's chill like some dolphins. I want to chill like some dolphins. Like, let's don't mess around with no puffer fish. That's on them. This man called them junkies, and I beg to differ. I feel like the idea that they figured out you can bounce this thing around a little bit, and get yourself a buzz. So shout out to the dolphins for knowing how to party. It's the weekend, and we gonna turn up dolphin style. Anyway, y'all, like the video, subscribe to the channel. I'm on a road to 1,000. I am currently at 656 last time I looked, so we inching it up one little subscriber at a time. I want to shout out to Lotus Egyptian Flower. Thank you so much for the support. She be out here liking and sharing, and she's been subscribed for a while now. She's over here participating in the chats, and I don't want it to go unnoticed that I appreciate that. I appreciate the support. I am a trip. I'm not tripping, but at some point today, I might just get on my dolphin style. You know what I'm saying? So, hate it or love it, I'm over here just chilling. In a world where we are confronted with so much stress on a daily basis, is it just me? Because some days I wake up and I feel like I need to just stay away from the internet sometimes. I think we all do. It's like a double-edged sword. We want to know what's going on, but at the same time, we just can't take it anymore. I don't know where to go a lot of the times just for some peace of mind. So, I guess it's just going to have to be a puffer fish for me or, something to that effect. Anyway, until my time runs out, until I'm not feeling I'm not feeling it anymore. Anyway, let's get started. We're gonna get this party started and get on. It's the freaking weekend. I wanted to start here because I feel like we need to educate ourselves, and and when I say we, I mean me. A little more on financial, not even independency, intelligence. You know what I'm saying? What is it that we don't know that these people, can teach us? The Black-owned investment advisory firm Melanin Money credits collectively have crossed over 1 billion in net worth. That's amazing. That's worth celebrating. It says another milestone for Black excellence in wealth management. Melanin Money, a Black-owned investment advisory firm powered by Capital Wise, has announced that it has surpassed its 1 billion in combined client net worth across its clients. This is a combination of assets under advisement and under management. The achievement reflects the firm's continued commitment helping individuals and families build long-term wealth through financial education and investment advisory services. I love this, and it's not just about it says families, and I think we got to as the older generation have to make sure the younger generation is privy to information that we did not have. Melanin Money is a financial education platform and a community aimed at helping professionals and entrepreneurs of color close the racial wealth gap and build generational wealth. Led by licensed financial professionals Carter Cofield and George Achimpong. I'm sure I said that wrong, but Achimpong, I'm not going to keep trying. Anyway, the platform offers courses, podcasts, and advisory service focused on investing, tax strategies, and business scaling. I love that. Like, they're here for our education. If you didn't know, you know what I'm saying? They've got courses, they've got podcasts. So it's worth checking out. It's called Melanin Money. Customer feedback for Melanin Money is generally positive, earning a 4.2 out of 5-star rating on Trustpilot. Many users praise the community for providing actionable, high-level financial education that has traditionally been gatekept from underrepresented communities. What users love. Members highly rate the actionable advice on reducing taxes, diversifying investment portfolios, and building tax-free wealth. The community aspect is often cited as a major benefit, connecting aspiring melanin millionaires with like-minded wealth and building individuals. The areas of improvement. Some customers have expressed frustration over the premium price point of their higher tier workshops and coaching programs. $2,000 for a workshop. I don't know. I don't feel like that's very much in terms of where you are in your learning journey in terms of entrepreneurship or in business in general. I feel like $2,000. I spend that much a year on my education, as a tax write-off. So I don't think 2,000 is a lot. I guess it depends on, like I said, what tier you're at in your journey. A few reviews felt the material moved too quickly or did not deliver the exact individualized tax saving strategies they were hoping for. But it says a few reviewers. So I always feel like the negative reviews sometimes is a source of, where they can improve, honestly. And sometimes you have to take, with it the grain of salt. Everybody, you can't please everybody. Key offerings, the Melanin Money Show, a popular podcast hosted by Cofield and Archipong that breaks down practical wealth building steps and for higher earning professionals. It's an Apple podcast. I'm sure you can find it in various places. Courses and challenges, multi-day educational challenges designed to help individuals learn how to invest, build business entities, and manage six-figure incomes. And in this day and age, six figures is just, the bottom. And then there's poverty. Whew. A core investment in wealth building philosophy taught by the community to help members scale their money. For in-depth interview with the founders, break down their background and mission of Melanin Money. I feel like it's worth checking out. That's not hard to remember, Melanin Money. Good morning to go to Africa. Yeah, Melanin Money, and like I said, they got podcasts, they've got courses, and we're all in a different phase. Not all of us are entrepreneurs, but you definitely, no matter what your career is, we definitely need to find ways to make our money work for us. Building tax income, making our money work for us. So yeah, Melanin Money, check that out and make sure you pass it on. If you've got students that are in high school, this is a good media outlet for them to add to whatever it is they're learning at school. I guarantee you, if it's in the public school, it's not going to be a whole lot surrounding taxes and just simple life skills. They took all of that out of the school. They want you to AI your brain into mush. Shout out to Detroit. Detroit is America's least white major. I flubbed that up. Detroit is America's least white major city with only 11.6% white population. Go Detroit. Hey, Detroit is our Flint cousin, neighbor. And so, this is where opportunities and things for the people can come, because a majority of the people are melanated. That's a great thing. Detroit is the least white major city in the United States, according to the latest U.S. Census Bureau estimates. The Census Bureau estimates that 11.6% of Detroit residents identify as white alone, while approximately 75.3% identify as Black or African American alone. That makes Detroit the nation's least white major city among large cities by population. And Detroit is like Atlanta, you know what I'm saying? Or some of the other cities that are populated with Black people. It's not like a country city that don't have nothing going on. Detroit has a lot going on, and like I said, opportunity available. Good morning, T. They talking about your cousins down there around the street. Detroit is very Black populated, 73%. Detroit's demographic makeup reflects decades of historical migration, suburbanized, and economic changes that reshaped the city's population. While the city remains overwhelmingly Black, its surrounds metropolitan area is significantly more racially diverse than many white residents living in neighboring suburbs. When you're thinking about purchasing a home or employment opportunities, and you get blackballed or shut out based on AI interview techniques and all the other ways they try to keep us from making progress. So shout out to Detroit. I'm always going to be happy to see population Black. Makes me feel comfortable. And also, like I said, it's a big city, it's a thriving city, so y'all not gonna attach to us things that are negative just because same thing with Atlanta is highly populated with Black people, but they also have a lot of opportunity. You see Black people living in nice neighborhoods and that kind of thing, and so yeah. You said we need a reincarnated Coleman Young and Eric Mays to lead the city of Detroit. Don't get T started, because Eric Mays was her guy. T be down to the city council meetings and things. So yeah, at least we need someone who follows the same blueprint that Coleman Young and Eric Mays set, for them to follow. So yeah, if you're thinking about relocating, Detroit might just be your spot. You know what I'm saying? I would consider it if it didn't snow. T be trying to get me to move to Detroit. I'm a Floridian now, and the way my body works, I just can't with that cold weather. But check out Detroit. It's got it going on. Detroit got it going on. Hey, just when we want to celebrate, we got this lady over here in DeKalb County acting a fool. And we were just praising Atlanta based on, the alliance with Detroit. Ask BMF from Detroit to Atlanta. That maybe not have been the best example. I knew you were going to say that. Lotus Egyptian Flower, she said, Eric is ours, not Detroit. He was, yeah. Eric was a Flint politician. But I mean, we mean as a whole. I think she was just talking about, like she said, reincarnate them in terms of, the way they run things, the way they fight hard, for the people. So not this lady. She ain't fighting hard for the people. Sometimes people just get in a place of power and they don't know what to do with it. Metro Atlanta judge Yolanda Parker Smith is accused of having an attorney jailed after getting to court late. The appointment was scheduled for 9 a.m., but the attorney showed up at 10:48, which, you know, the way the caption makes you feel like, well, he was very late. But let's get into the details, because there's always details. She runs a strict program. She needs to get off her high horse as far as I'm concerned. DeKalb County Superior Court Judge Yolanda Parker Smith is facing formal judicial misconduct charges following the allegations that she had a defense attorney jailed after he arrived to court late for court. Why he got to go to jail? That's already too much as far as I'm concerned. Imagine you get arrested for being late for work. That's crazy. The attorney reportedly had an 8:30 a.m. hearing in Henry County before a separate 9 a.m. court appearance before Parker Smith in DeKalb County. He arrived at 10:48 a.m. after his office allegedly notified. They did. We saying allegedly, but I'm sure they did, because he was probably frustrated and walking around cussing and fussing about how they had scheduled him to be two places at the same damn time. After his office allegedly notified court staff about the scheduling conflict one day earlier. So 24 hours notice is plenty, Judge. According to the Georgia Judicial Qualifications Commission investigative report, a deputy took the attorney through a side courtroom entrance and placed him in a basement detention cell. What was she trying to prove by this? I'm just saying, what exactly was, it would have been better if she took him into her chambers where she can have a conversation, which is probably what she should have done. But she decided she gonna make this man sit in a cell. That's wild, Black woman. Deputies reportedly confiscated his electronic devices and he remained detained until around noon. So he was in there for an hour, just sitting, wondering what the hell is wrong with this lady, I guess. The report alleges that Parker Smith did not first address the attorney, warn him, or give him an opportunity to explain the delay. After the attorney was released and returned to court, Parker Smith allegedly lectured him about punctuality and scheduling conflicts. However, no formal complaint, proceeding, or other illegal action was taken against him, according to the report. So she just did it to embarrass him? That's even worse. The commission alleges Parker Smith failed to comply with Georgia law, maintaining professional competence, and treat the attorney patiently, courteously, with dignity. The attorney's detention is one of the 3 misconduct complaints involving the judge. Other allegations include threatening to jail prosecutors and refusing to return indictments because of a dispute involving courthouse personnel. So she be taking personal things and, taking it out on people. I hear a lot of people say that judge don't like me, in terms of when the lawyers got to go to court, they'd be like, ooh, this judge hates me. And that's unfortunate. He's a defense attorney, so that's unfortunate for whoever he's defending. Parker Smith's attorney, Gabe Banks, said the judge is aware of the formal charges and is working with counsel to respond fully and fairly. The accusations were not resulted in a final finding of misconduct, and the hearing panel will determine whether discipline is warranted. I wanted to read this first comment. This says, lawyer here for the breakdown. We often are scheduled to be in 2 and 3 courts at the same time. It's humanly impossible, and most courts don't give us enough notice to properly inform all courts. This is beyond unreasonable. It is beyond unreasonable, especially when the attorneys are not responsible for scheduling. Seems like the judge was mad at the attorney for dumping her. Ooh. The judge caught feelings. She's definitely working in her feelings. If he didn't dump her, he rejected her. You know what I'm saying? If being late is a crime, a whole lot of Black folks would be in jail. Yeah, myself included. But it's Atlanta, so if you have a court day appearance outside the county, he said Henry County somewhere, then you got to go through traffic, Atlanta traffic, to get to DeKalb County. She knows she's unreasonable. and using personal situations to punish people. And like I said, the person that loses is the defendant. You in here mad because this lady don't like the defending attorney based on he ain't interested, or she's a hater, or she don't like this lady, or whatever her reasons are. She be taking personal reasons to punish people. Him sitting in a cell for an hour is ridiculous. Like, you holding up court just to prove a point without ever having a conversation with the man. That's easy enough to know. Like, this is not a attorney error. This is a scheduling error somewhere down in your clerical department. So maybe, don't go down there arresting people. But I think, their system is flawed. And nobody should be sitting in a cell just because this lady is, full of herself. So yeah, all leaders ain't meant to lead, child. And this lady is one of them. She looks young, and her tracks is a little bumpy. It's a hump up there. Maybe that's why she mad, because her hairstylist got her walking around with that hump. I said earlier that we living in a very stressful time. So I'm over here to try to make sure we all are informed on what's going on. This ain't good, y'all. This is not good.
Defense bill, including Section 219, that would essentially merge the U.S. and Israeli military. But they also attached the SAVE Act to the defense bill. The vote passed 216 to 212 today, with 6 Democrats joining. It would have been beaten if they hadn't joined. And it now passes Section 219 that essentially merges the United States and Israeli military, including resources, intel, weapons technology. It essentially enmeshes them into the same military force. We have never been so conjoined with a foreign military force ever before. But they also attach the SAVE Act to it, what Trump's been calling a voter ID bill. It is not. It is a voter disenfranchisement bill, because you can't take your real ID that you had to bring in your birth certificate for, that you had to prove where you live for, in order to get all those documents you had to bring. You can't bring your real ID. You have to have a passport, which many Americans don't have, and it's not affordable for most people. But also, if you are a woman who your name does not match your birth name because you got married, you are disenfranchised from voting, because they don't specify within the bill what you can bring in order to register to vote. They don't say if your marriage license is enough. They don't say what it is you have to bring. And they threaten the person accepting your paperwork with jail time if they get it wrong. It is intentionally vague, intentionally frustrating, and intentionally expensive, so that people will not register to vote, so that they can encourage a low voter turnout, because when there is low turnout, Republicans do better. The goal of this is to disenfranchise voters. It will most dramatically impact rural voters, elderly voters, disabled voters, and women voters. They attached it to a defense spending bill that they thought they could push through because of resources needed for the endless, no need to be over there war in Iran that merged our military with Israel. Now they're trying to also change voting with a defense bill. And the $1.15 trillion, by the way, would have funded all public colleges being free, forgiven all medical debt in the United States, and funded around 30% of universal health care. We do not have a money problem. We have a priorities problem. Also, here are the 6 Democrats that voted yes. Bill now goes to the Senate. Call your senators, light their offices up, and stop this bill, not just because of the SAVE Act, but also because we should not be enmeshed with any foreign power for any reason. The House just passed a $1.15 trillion defense bill.
So I guess we're going to have to be diligent and get, all up in these senators' ass. You said I would need to create my own constitution because I'm always late. Ooh, well, don't make me be the reason, Lotus Egyptian Flower. I don't want to be the reason why you're late, but I feel like that judge, she needs to have a talking to. Good morning, Jaguar. Yeah, we're gonna have to be diligent and reach out to these senators and make sure, we over here being led by DeSantis. So, I mean, that's not gonna discourage me, but we definitely gonna have to step up. We're definitely gonna have to have conversations with people, your neighbors, your friends. Especially she listed the 6 Democrats. So if you go back, T, and look at the end of this, I'll just send it to you. I'll send you this particular. You should follow her because she stay on top of things. I'll send it to you, and you can see. And for all of the rest of y'all, I think I already did. I believe I posted it on my story on Instagram. So if you're not following me on Instagram, I don't know what you wait for, child. It's just Rhonda01, just like everywhere else. TikTok, Instagram. But I do post a lot of this information in my stories. So yeah, we need to get on these Democrats right now, and there were 6 of them or 4. But without their vote, this wouldn't be a thing. So yeah, it's just another step for us. Supreme Court, they over here trying to amp up their security is because they keep following behind this foolishness. So the power of 3. I'm gonna have my own coven over here by myself and get real witchy. We gotta try whatever. Every little bit helps, whatever we trying to do. But yeah, these senators, who you voting for, get into it, because it's about to be a mess. Especially, like, I'm not married, so for me that's not an issue. But I don't have a passport, so there you go. And if you try to get one right now, it takes time. It takes time to get a passport. You said APEC has been effective at controlling those Democrats. Yeah. And so we need to call them out. We need to call them out. We need to make sure that the people understand, because, the regular Republicans, not the MAGA ones, are being affected too. And I feel like they definitely are turned off by this administration. So, whoo, child, we still got a hell of a fight ahead of us. Yeah, we got a hell of a fight ahead of us. I don't want to get discouraged. I just want to do the things that I need to do, to be proactive. Because, child, whoo. Let's get into something a little bit lighter. You gender reveal people, come on. Y'all are doing way too much. This couple decided they wanted to color these doves blue, lovebirds. So if you spotted a bright blue bird near the Salt River, there's an explanation, and it's gender reveal. An Arizona influencer couple hired Sacred Dove Release, a Queen Creek company, to dye birds blue, bright blue, and release them to announce their baby's gender. This is freaking unnecessary. What is wrong with balloons? Why gotta release things? We got enough shit going on in the atmosphere. Y'all are killing me. Soon after, people along the Salt River near Coon Bluff started reporting the strange blue birds and called in local wildlife rehabber. Crystal White of Crystal's Critter Haven caught several but couldn't fully wash the dye out. Her concern is simple. Out in the brown desert, a bright blue bird stands out to every predator around. They're like beacons for predators, she said. The company owner, Monica Flores, says she used non-toxic food coloring and that it was her first time dyeing birds. Really? And so, all this for a baby reveal. And that most return home healthy. After the backlash, she says she won't do it again. I hope not. Here's the bigger issue. This keeps happening. Dyed release birds have shown up hurt or dead in other cities, and wildlife rescues have spent years asking people to leave animals out of the gender reveals entirely, non-toxic or not. A bird that can't blend in has a much harder time surviving the flight home. So this issue is bigger than the daggum birds. It's like I said, I'm not a PETA person, but leave the animals where they're supposed to be. This is so unnecessary. They out here dying birds, like what's her name over there? Sorry about my baby. He's cranky this morning. Oh, that's her. She mad. She waiting on her bottle. That's like what's her name over at Housewives. She about to, be in bankruptcy and spending thousands of dollars to dye her dog all that different colors. You don't know what it does to the animal. She says she never done it before. You said they stay worrying about animals but not humans. I'm not feeling like I'm worrying about animals, but I feel like this is unnecessary This is really stupid. And in Florida, we have a whole lot of wildlife, reserves, and birds are a big deal. But this is just unnecessary for a gender reveal. It's one thing, to be putting animals before humans, but it's also another thing when people go out and do something so stupid as to release blue birds into the environment, not knowing that they're not going to be able to, blend in and live their natural life. So I'm like I said, I'm not a PETA freak. I don't feel like this is about putting animals before humans, but can we stop people with the gender reveals be blowing up buildings? Somebody always getting hurt trying to, let the people know, it's a boy or it's a girl, and it's just stupid and useless. This is a living thing. So can y'all fall back, please, with dying animals for your freaking gender reveal? Thank you. Y'all still want robots? This is something I never wanted. I never wanted to have no robot, but here we are. A humanoid robot malfunctioned, which is what our biggest fear is, that this will happen. A humanoid robot malfunctioned during its first day at the office in Indonesia. Y'all over here testing robots in Indonesia, suddenly turning aggressive and launching a series of Bruce Lee inspired high kicks at the staff before being brought under control. What happened? He got here the first day. He said, fuck this job. This shit is ghetto. He sounds like the rest of us, don't he? The footage quickly went viral across media, sparking jokes and memes about the robot's unexpected behavior. Where did he learn that at? Who programmed him to turn into Bruce Lee? At the same time, the incident serves as a reminder that humanoid robots are still being tested, clearly, with safety and reliable operations around people remaining key priorities as the technology continues to develop. This is how we live, how we feel every day. That's Lauren. Oh, Shanti's over here. Excuse me. Oh, goodness. Yeah. I don't want to work with no robots. First of all, you said social media really effed up society, anything for clicks and views. I agree. It shows up so much in this whole Love Island situation that's going on because, it's all about followers and likes and, and just for these people to rise and then come crashing down in the next 6 months, nobody will give a shit. And they, try to figure out how to function off of not enough likes. Who did the download on the robot? Exactly. Why does this robot know how to do karate kicking? I came across a video yesterday. I didn't save it because it irritated me, but it was this robot like doing pelvic thrust, and this woman decided she was gonna bend over, and let the robot grind on her booty. And I was like, why is this a thing? We just were talking about like how the government is trying to, finagle this whole voting situation. Y'all making robots out here that want to booty grind, as if we don't have enough, ridiculous, unhinged niggas out here that don't know how to keep their hands to themselves. But now we got robots doing it too. And what's going to happen when you and your teenage daughter are at the mall and some wild, freaky robot grabs her from behind, and tries to booty bang her in front of the damn Forever 21. Let's see. Did you see the story about the OpenAI robot going rogue, escaping the lab and attacking a competitor? I did not see that. Where was that at? Was that here? This was in Indonesia, where they over there, y'all in a cubicle about to get karate kicked. And don't say Bruce Lee, because that sounds fatal. I'm as much a fan of robots as I am of driverless cars. I agree. And it's a lot of people like hiring robots to be their housekeeper. Unless her name is Rosie, I don't want nothing to do with it. These robots look scary. I haven't actually seen a Waymo car. I don't know if we have them here, but yeah, none of that makes sense to me. And the way we got construction going on all the time, you be in a Waymo and it drive you off a cliff because we, the road be there one day and then it's gone the next day. Um, let's talk about this food. The food has been a problem. Everybody, I mean, we looking at salad. I don't feel comfortable eating no lettuce still, and again, the list keeps growing. Michelin-starred chef from Culinary Class Wars faces jail time after allegedly using ants to garnish a dish. Was it allegedly or not? Prosecutors are seeking a 1-year prison term for Joseph Lidgewood, an Australian chef and owner of a 2-star Michelin restaurant, Everett in Seoul, who appeared in a Culinary Class Wars for using unauthorized dried ants as a dessert garnish. What does unauthorized mean? Apple and Saint-Chaud leaf sorbet garnished with frozen ants meant to add tart citrus-like acidity, violating the food sanitation. Okay, well now I'm understanding why it's a problem. Violating the Food Sanitation Act because ants are not among the 10 approved insect species for human consumption in South Korea. Prosecutors state that roughly 49,000 dried ants were imported from the United States and Thailand over a 4-year period starting in 2021. He's been doing it for a long time. Do the people like it? A 1-year prison sentence for a chef and a 20 million Korean won a $13,000 fine for the operating corporation. I don't know. I feel like in some places they have these strange delicacies. You have to shop at local gardens and farmers markets to get your ants. I don't know. I don't want to eat any ants, but I feel like it can be worse than the shitty lettuce. So people should know what they're eating. Yeah, insects. It doesn't surprise me. Like this is in, I forget they said Australia, but no, this is Korea. But it says there's 10 insects that are approved. This one happens to not be approved. Did anybody get sick, or did they just, just seems like it's a situation that the people didn't know about, or did they? It's garnish. I don't know if the people knew what they were eating, if that was on the menu. It says arrest these chefs for feeding people testicles. I mean, they eating it. So what are the 10 approved insects? Yeah, I would like to know that too. It seems like ants should be very, they're not poisonous. I thought they said it's a good source of protein. I'm going to go to Africa. There's a lot of places that use insects in the food. So those hands look like they lack melanin. We know who do that. Is disgusting. Yeah. Jail time now can't be worse than the pig. Feels like the ants are like should we eat a lot way worse. McDonald's. I feel like I'd rather eat ants than McDonald's these days. You said I haven't seen them arrest those people on those reality shows whose people are forced to eat stuff like that. Listen, I was watching Love Island and they had them kids eat sardines and then spit it in somebody else's mouth. I'd rather eat the damn ants. So jail time seems a bit severe. I don't know what's going on over there in Korea, but sir, find something else to sprinkle. You said it's citrusy. You're going to have to use some orange peels or something because, the people said you're going to go to jail if you keep using them ants. Speaking of things we can't eat, we got another recall. I didn't save the one about the garlic, but the garlic powder is a problem, and apparently so are the eggs.
It's got an alert from the FDA about another massive recall, and I want to make sure you hear about it before you wake up and crack an egg for breakfast. 19 million eggs are being recalled because they could be contaminated with salmonella. The recall includes both white and brown eggs, and they're sold under a number of popular brand names, including Kroger, Simple Truth, Sun Ups, Brookshires, and Country Morning as well. And don't assume that you're in the clear just because they're brown eggs or because they aren't a store brand. You have to look at the lot numbers. I'll have that information in my link in bio, and I'll call it recalled eggs as well. Right now, the recalled eggs were sold in Texas, Louisiana, Oklahoma, Arkansas, New Mexico, and Mississippi. So if you have family or friends there, or if you're traveling there, this is good information you need to know. And of course, I'll keep you posted on any updates, and follow me for more consumer alerts. Literally.
My city, my state wasn't on the list, but I mean, that doesn't mean anything. Those people sign waivers, the ones on the TV shows or the ones in the restaurant. I feel like a lot of times people go travel to places just so they can eat those delicacies. But yeah, be careful with the eggs. Nothing safe under this administration. It doesn't seem like it. I'm locked in on damn grits. Is the grits okay? Can we eat grits and oatmeal? Good grief. We're going to have iron deficiencies and all kinds of stuff. And so many things are, we use eggs to cook. And what about the garlic powder? Child, not the garlic powder. I use fresh garlic, but is that okay? Like, we walking around, we're going to all be robots. Then we're going to all feel like drop kicking some damn body. For goodness sakes. Check your eggs, child, if you're in any of those cities that this lady just mentioned. And check your eggs if you're not, because just because they didn't mention it doesn't mean anything. Speaking of nasty, unsanitary situations, we talked about this lady yesterday down to the Carnival Cruise Line scratching her feet. Well, Carnival has responded to the viral video where a passenger was seen using a fork for foot care. And her feet needed she needed a podiatrist or something, some bleach. Turning the situation into a lighthearted but firm hygiene reminder. The cruise line joked that forks are intended for food, not foot care. Confirmed that the utensil was removed from the service and said their crew acted quickly to address the issue. Carnival emphasized that while the clip may be funny online, cleanliness and guest safety remain a serious priority across its fleet. I don't believe them. I don't think they threw that shit away. I don't know if that lady got up and told the staff that this woman is over here scratching her crusty feet with the fork, but I don't believe them. I think that's real cute. You said go get a chicken coop? Yeah. I definitely want one. When the eggs went real high, a lot of people in this neighborhood got chickens. So I definitely want one, especially while Kylie is living, while we're living together, because she's very much, she's into agriculture and things of that nature. And I would want to learn. But yeah, I want a chicken, few chickens. And yeah, so I don't believe Carnival threw that shit away. I think, y'all are trying to save face, but we can't eat the food and we can't use the utensils. Everybody, now we can't just go plastic. We just gonna have to carry around our own. And you know how Beyonce got hot sauce in her bag? We gonna need a fork and a spoon in our bag and maybe a cup. Those cups like for the babies where they collapse and they come with a straw? We gonna go to restaurants and be setting up our own paper plates to child. We just ain't gonna be able to go nowhere. Is that what they want, for us to stay somewhere inside? Ugh. This is why you can't walk around without shoes on too, because people with this fungusy feet be walking around public places acting like, it's cool. Crumble cookies is trouble again too. And I mean, this is the second time. Last time I seen the story on crumble cookies, the lady had took off her shoe and was resting her feet on the cookie sheets. This is crazy. Imagine going to buy food from a restaurant and you see the employee getting her hair done or doing hair like it's her hair salon. One man caught his experience on camera. The man says he's got to the Charlotte Crombie location Oh, is it Crumby? No, it's Crumble. He said a man got to the Charlotte Crumble location a little after 9 p.m. and couldn't believe his eyes. He spotted one employee sitting while the other worked on her hair. Child. He pulled out his phone camera and recorded some of it as he spoke in the background. This chick sitting inside Crumble Cookie getting her hair done, he said. He then went inside and said something to the employee, letting them know that it's unsanitary to be doing such a thing. One responded, "Does it look like I'm cooking?" As if that justifies doing hair in the place that serves food. The man, another witness, and WBTV contacted the company afterwards. Crumble originally provided a statement letting everyone know that they're taking proper actions against the employees and doing deep cleaning. While it wasn't exactly clear what actions were being taken before, the company has now clarified that the two women were fired. Whew, as they should be. I'm sorry. Let's listen to these fools, child.
So, Charlotte, let's talk. I'm Siobhan Bryan with WBTV, but let's get back to this video. A man pulls up to a local Crumble, the one on Kings Drive in Charlotte's Midtown area, and this is what he sees. It looks like one of the employees is doing the hair of or greasing the scalp of one of the others. The obvious issue here is it's a cookie spot. Any place where we eat or buy anything to eat, we expect hygiene. The gentleman who posted this said he told the young lady inside that what she was doing wasn't exactly sanitary. And he said she snapped at him saying, quote, "Do you see me cooking?" Safe to say, he skipped out on the cookies and we reached out to Crumble. They said they're aware of the video, but called the employee behavior unacceptable and inappropriate. They said they took, quote, appropriate actions with the employees. They didn't quite specify if that's a suspension, a slap on the wrist, or if these young ladies were fired. But they said they immediately closed the store, threw out all the dough on site. That's a lot of dough. Brought in a professional cleaning crew to make sure none of whatever this is ends up in your next order.
This chick sitting inside Crumble Cookie in her heaven.
So, Charlotte, let's talk.
I personally am not a fan of Crumble Cookies, but Crumble Cookies are expensive as hell. My daughter's boyfriend bought her Crumble Cookies one time, and it was like $60-some for a dozen cookies. They're expensive. I don't think they taste that great. I don't like a whole mouthful of sugar like that. It's not a whole lot of flavor, but I know you in there selling them $100 cookies. She is putting some type of grease on that lady's hair. And then you go stop and do what? Are you cooking? Do you need to touch the cookies though? Girl, those hands and feet look like they lack melanin. They lack melanin, but they got a whole lot of fungus on them, child. It's disgusting to see one like her do that and go to the food bar with other people. Oh, y'all talking about the lady with the feet. She actually sat there, scratched her feet, and then went on to eat her pizza. So she's perfectly fine with whatever fungus she got. If it's on her feet, it's in her mouth too. Just nasty. And Crumble Cookies are too damn expensive for this. It's just one story after another of people doing disgusting things. Hell, I'm ready to go back to the ants. That's the least of you won't know what it is, no way. You can eat them ants and be like, that's delicious. So this is very upsetting for you women that want a man so bad that you bring him into your home and let them treat your children how this man is treating this young lady.
My mom. I can explain to my mom.
Shut your mouth.
I can explain to my mom what happened.
I'm talking to your mother.
I can explain to my mom what happened.
I'm talking to your mother. Shut your mouth,
I can
little
explain to
girl.
my mom
I'm
what
not
happened.
talking to you. Your mother
I can
asked me a
explain to my mom
question.
what happened.
Learn your place as a child. Learn your
I'm
place.
trying to adult.
You're a child.
No, I'm a legally adult.
Oh, because
Stop.
you're 18.
Stop.
Because
Legally
you're
adult.
18, you think you're
Stop.
a legal
Legally
adult.
adult.
I'll tell you what, little girl.
Legally
It's
adult.
funny though, right? But you need to
Legally
come
adult.
back here, right? But you had to come back
Legally
here.
adult.
You-
Talk to you when I'm
Right,
done.
your mother asked me a question. I'm talking to your mother.
Legally
Shut your
adult.
mouth when I'm talking to your
Legally
mother.
adult. I can explain to my mom.
I'm not when you
I can
I would shoot.
Okay, so this says a viral video has social media split after a heated confrontation between an 18-year-old woman and her stepfather was caught on camera. They calling her a woman, but we know 18 is not grown. So that, saying woman doesn't make me feel like she's grown. In the video, the stepfather is seen removing the teen's bedroom door while she records the encounter. Through tears, the teen repeatedly says she's 18 years old and a legal adult while her voice shakes, and she tells him she'll let her mother know what happened. The stepfather appears to dismiss her argument repeatedly, referring to her as a little girl and telling her that being 18 doesn't matter because she had to move back into her mother's home. Her mother's home, not his home. It says back into her mother's home. And I don't feel like 18 and out is acceptable, honestly, but you know how y'all are. It's a man live here, so you got to go because you 18. As the exchange continues, he appears to taunt her about having to return to live there. Meanwhile, the teen's mother can be seen on the stairs appearing to hold the man back as the tension escalates. She wasn't about to hold him back from nothing. If he wanted to get past her, he would have. And the anger that was coming from him was, to me, unacceptable towards her daughter. The video has sparked a wave of reactions online, with many viewers criticizing what they believe is a situation where a mother is choosing her partner over her child. That's how I see it. Others question why the mother didn't immediately comfort her daughter or ask the stepfather to leave the situation instead of allowing the confrontation to continue. Because she's afraid of him, because he's scary. That's a big joker. Yeah, that's a big joker. And, she's allowing him to talk to her daughter that way. I understand that teenagers can be a lot. They can be disrespectful. They can be a lot of things. But when you're the stepfather, unless you raise that child from, being very small, I don't know that that's the case. It doesn't seem like it. It seems like the young lady moved out and she had to move back home. She's 18 and that happens. She's also an adult. So a conversation and understanding needs to be had between her and her mother. But this man, the way he's talking to her, he is so aggressive. If I gotta stand in between you and my daughter, that's a problem. Seems like the mother wants a man over creating a relationship with her daughter. Though if the daughter is so uncomfortable and she needs to get her money together to move out. Yeah, but she just had to move back in. But she's 18. So, she's 18, 19, 20, 21. Those are young people just figuring it out. I just feel like ain't no way in the world. Like if it's a matter of disrespect, whatever it is, it needs to be handled between the mother and the daughter. This dude is, being so aggressive, like I said. And then he took her door off. So she's a grown woman with no door to her bedroom. And what about her privacy in terms of her changing clothes and sleeping in her bed, in her night clothes and stuff? We don't trust this nigga the way he acting. How could a mother give a man that kind of power over her daughter? She should have intervened immediately. Sure should have, because what she should have done is turned around to that man and told him, hold up, back up, get out of this situation and let me handle it. She got a box. This is a big joker. Matter of fact, he's standing on the ground and the mama is standing in the middle of the stairway and he's still bigger than she is. So how tall? Oh, he's up there. I thought he was on the ground. He's still, look how much he's towering over her. And that mother has, her face looks uncomfortable. Like she's moving in fear. Good morning, Jatoni. At the end of the day, like these women have to, there's story after story after story. There's so many stories I pass up because I'm like, I don't even want to have to do that. You know what I'm saying? we come over here to talk about, current events and things, and, things that are going on in the world. But there's so many tragic stories, one after another. There's so many stories of domestic violence where the partner, we just talked about an 84-year-old man that tried to burn up his girlfriend. So having this man talk to this daughter like that makes me very uncomfortable. A man who wants authority without having nothing in his name. He said, this is your mama's house. That's what the thing said. You move in your mama's house. He doesn't have the right to remove the door if his name is not on the on the mortgage statement. It's difficult for an 18-year-old to be able to afford her own place. I would be concerned about whether this man has been sexually harassing her. You spelled it, and I said it anyway, to go to Africa. That's what I felt like to go to Africa. I'm like, this young lady is going to be in a room with the door open. So, she can't go have any type of privacy when she's changing her clothes. She got to hope this clown ain't lurking around in her mother's house. In her mother's house. At 18 years old, if you got to come back home, more than likely that's going to happen. When you have a kid move out and they're going to do their own thing, within a year, probably they're going to come back home because they working down to the crumble cookie place and they done put some grease in their coworkers' hair. Now they fired and they got to come back home because they don't have a job anymore. So, those are the kind of things that happens when you're 18 years old. Am I saying this little girl was disrespectful? I don't know, but probably she needed to be checked. And he wasn't the one to do it. It's just like, to me, scary. The way he's like, so, like I said, aggressive. He done worked his way up the stairs where the mama is standing in between. He has worked his way up the stairs. She's recording and he's getting more and more escalated. And then he came and took the door off the bedroom. So now your mama didn't let this man come in here and, like you said, chose that man over her daughter. That's sad. That's sad. The mama is non-melanated. And I feel like a lot of times they choose that type of dude. Clearly, the girl's father is non-melanated, is a melanated man as well. She like what she like. In the comments, I'm never allowing a man to have that much power over my kids and talk to them crazy, effing up the nervous system. Exactly, the nervous system, child, will have you sitting on the toilet like you ate bad lettuce. Imagine the energy when he comes in, like when he's not there, her and her mother are probably fine. And then here he come and, she can't even escape to her bedroom. And it's like, how is he acting like her having to come home as if she's not a child? I understand why adults go no contact with their parents. Yeah. A stepfather should never be able to take the door down of a stepdaughter. Especially when it ain't his house, like y'all said, especially when he is not on the mortgage. Whew, pray for this young lady. That's so sad. These kids is out here with not even any peace at home. Home is supposed to be somewhere where you could come to, for nurturing and for peace of mind and, to help get you in a place where you can be independent and out on your own. And maybe that takes baby steps. If you're 18 and you go out, anything could happen. She could have had a roommate and the roommate situation fell through. I don't care how old my kids are. Home is always going to be a place where they're welcome to come to get their, selves back on their feet. So let's get into a little entertainment news. Malcolm Jamal's wife did an interview with Gayle King today. I haven't seen it, but I'm going to check it out. But it looks like Chadwick Boseman's brother wants his widow removed from his estate, claims she still hasn't distributed assets nearly 6 years after his death. Distributed assets? Nigga, this is his wife. I'm sick of y'all. Brother, go somewhere. I formed an opinion. Chadwick Boseman's family is back in court over his estate. According to TMZ, Chadwick's brother Kevin and Derek Bozeman have filed legal documents asking a judge to remove his widow, not remove her, Taylor Simone Ledward Bozeman, as the administrator of his estate. The brothers claim Taylor has mismanaged the estate and hasn't followed a 2022 court order that gave Chadwick's parents, Leroy and Carolyn Bozeman, a combined 50% share after the actor died without a will. How did he not have a will when he knew he was sick? I feel like Malcolm Jamal drowned, but Chadwick knew, that he was sick. That's wild to me, because if you know you're sick, that's the time to go ahead and start getting those things in order. They also allege Taylor has kept the family in the dark about the estate for years and still hasn't finished distributing assets. According to the filing, the estate includes movie royalties, intellectual property rights, investments, insurance policies, personal belongings, and more than $3 million across multiple bank accounts. This might sound insensitive. And why does the family feel like they're entitled? I don't know. I mean, I think it's the right thing, maybe, but at the end of the day, she's his wife and he didn't handle his business. The filing claims the Chadwick's parents have been left without money and insurance benefits they believe they're entitled to, saying it's prevented them from pursuing business opportunities tied to Chadwick's legacy, while Taylor has continued benefiting from his name and image. Now Chadwick's brothers are asking the court to hold Taylor in contempt, force her to provide a full accounting of the estate within 30 days, remove her as the administrator, and appoint attorney Jason Rubin to take over. That's where y'all messed up. Now y'all finna be over there like the whiskey people, appointing people, to take over. And how are they choosing? Anyway, they're also asking the court to stop her from signing major contracts involving Chadwick's estate without the family approval and require her to turn over all estate-related contracts. Let's see what this first person say. It clearly says the estate in the heading, which means assets were in a trust, which means that she was the trustee of that trust, and was her duty to distribute funds and assets to everyone that outlined. Listen, I feel like, of course, Chadwick would not want his family to be without anything. I definitely believe that. If something happened to me, I would definitely want my children to be the beneficiaries of my assets. However, Chadwick was walking around here knowing full well that he was, in a situation where he was not, going to be around. And why in the hell didn't he handle that? That doesn't make sense to me. Prince did the same thing. I've seen uneducated take better care of their financial arrangements than these celebrities. My mother, she wasn't uneducated, but she literally had everything taken care of to the point that all me and my sister had to do was sign the paperwork and monies were distributed, evenly. There wasn't any big thing. She didn't have any estate, but everything was literally taken care of. All I had to do was go down and sign the damn paperwork. So, and I remember when she got older, before she even got sick, when she got older, she was like, here's this paperwork. Like, she made sure I knew where everything was and what it was for. You said that's what can happen when family members rely on their wealthy families for income or for their survival. People need to learn to become more self-sufficient. I guess that was my mindset to go to Africa. Like, she's the wife. He made that decision. Y'all be down to the courthouse and to the chapel, matrimonying yourself to each other, and things become, that becomes his. We're one. We're husband. We're wife. I don't think they had any children they didn't mention any kids. I don't think he had any kids, but it's one thing for the parents, but the parents get their portion, and then they can figure out how them brothers is gonna get theirs. But you said the family wants those residual checks. In Chadwick's case, I think his parents do deserve something considering he didn't have children. Now, Malcolm, that's a whole different case. I agree. I agree that the parents do deserve something. I'm not sure what her story is and why she hasn't like I said, I don't think Chadwick would want his parents to be left out. Residual checks and all of that, I think they need to figure it out finances. Because his parents need to be taken care of and his brothers need to figure their life out. I don't know about passing down your assets to everyone in the damn family. They need to like to go to Africa said. Why are you don't you have your own? And if you know what I'm saying, and if you need something, then the parents should be the ones to distribute to the other sons. But child, take care, get your paperwork together. People with money, it doesn't make sense at all. I feel like when you come into money, that's the first thing you need to do is get them policies together. When you go down to the chapel in the courthouse to matrimony yourself to somebody, that should be considered. Malcolm and his wife had a prenup in place where life insurance policies and things were mentioned in the prenup. So Chadwick, look at this mess that you left behind, and you had a heads up. You had time to make it right, and you did not. So, now look at this, fallout between your family and your wife. Widow. Whew. Another one bites the dust, y'all. They're taking out legends. ESPN has allegedly fired longtime Inside the NBA host Charles Barkley. Amidst the layoffs at ESPN, news has just broke that they will be laying off longtime Inside the NBA host and former NBA MVP Charles Barkley. The news comes as a shock to many, as Barkley is one of the most successful figures in sports media. After parting ways with Turner Entertainment, the NBA and show moved their way to the ESPN airwaves. After just one season of Inside the NBA on ESPN, ESPN has decided to let Charles Barkley go. Does this mean the whole crew will be broken up and the show will end after its historic run? I mean, the writing is on the wall. It says Stephen A. Smith should have been the first to go. I think it's interesting that he's the only one that's still there. I'm not surprised. But yeah, another one bites the dust though. They letting go of Charles Barkley. That's a big dog. I've never been a Barkley fan, but respect to the legacy. But there's also other things going on if this ain't blatant. Y'all surprised? ESPN reportedly hands Tim Tebow a new multi-year deal amid company layoffs, as Ryan Clark and Cam Newton are among the latest to be given the boot. This is interesting. ESPN has officially announced a new multi-year contract extension for Tim Tebow as one of the faces of its college football coverage and for upcoming years. Tebow will continue appearing on SEC Nation, College Football Live, Sports Center, and other programming. The announcement comes amid the network's parting ways with several well-known personalities, including Ryan Clark and Cam Newton, as part of restructuring tied to ESPN's integration of NFL media assets. Clark, who's been with ESPN since 2015, was reportedly informed of his departure while he was in the middle of a live broadcast, while Newton's exit came less than a year after signing his own multi-year extension with the network. So, yeah, it ain't money. Somebody was on there on the platform the other day talking about how the network just made these choices because financially, it didn't make sense. And they went with the people, who were being paid a lot of money and not producing the same numbers. So it is not money. So they didn't went ahead and took that money and given it to Tim Tebow. And I bet you he making a pretty penny. It's often those trifling family members who didn't do anything for the deceased person when they were alive that are the first in line for money. I agree with that. They a lot of times come in there, talking about how funeral arrangements are going to be made and such. But, I hope they figure that out. Because I feel like Chadwick's Black Panther residuals is not nothing to sneeze at. Tebow has the complexion for the protection. Say it again. Tebow has the complexion for the protection. Watch how companies across the board make an effort to show they are anti-DEI. That's why yesterday I said Ryan and Cam and Charles Barkley, they need to get together and create their own sports analyst program. You know what I'm saying? Maybe they won't have the same money, but they darn sure will have good money. There's enough of them over there that they can collect. Leave Shannon Sharp out. We don't want him in Ocho. But, there's some talent that is over there that, I feel like they can build something. I can't stand Tim Tebow. He's been the face of MAGA for a while. Yeah, he'll I have never liked Tim Tebow. And, when he came in the league, I feel like, meh. So, yeah, they cleaning house. This would be the perfect time, like I said, to pivot. We have to start making Detroit, show up. Let's go to Detroit. It's real black over there. We can come, and go to Detroit and come up with some type of programming, for those that are anti-ESPN, because I won't be over there no more. I don't have nothing to see at ESPN. Ryan is out, and so Rhonda is too. That's how I feel about that. And the way they're doing things is so blatant. But, we knew when the Edisons, even though they don't own ESPN, when they start taking over media, we knew that this is how this was going to go. We've had this conversation for months about, Netflix and Paramount and how all of this was going to play out. Here it is playing out in front of us, And so, the folks that love Tim Tebow, who was that? T said it was going to be boring over there. And it is. It's going to be boring over there because y'all done got rid of all the flavor. And we can support our own. I feel like we as the people make things cool. And then, the appropriators come and they'll be back asking people. I hope Byron is somewhere with his hands rubbed together like, this is exactly what I've been waiting for. Byron Allen should build a studio in Detroit for all the sportscasters to their shows. And do we need Shannon? I don't think we need Shannon. Nah, Shannon be over there on that, call me nigga slave play. And that has nothing to do with sports, but I feel like we could do without Shannon. I like that idea, Lotus Egyptian Flower. Somebody call Byron, tell him it's the meeting in Detroit. That's what Usher, who was it? Usher and Big Sean have that music arts studio school over there in Detroit. So, yeah, let's get this thing done. Let's get these sports. Detroit, Michigan in itself is a football state. We got all the things. We do not need Tim Tebow. And we do not want RG3. So RG3, stay over there on your own side of the road. Charles has earned his honorary white boy status. I've never been a Charles fan, but I guess, he see how they doing him. He can see how they doing him. And so, there's other legends. What's his name? Jalen is over there. He doing all kinds of things in Detroit. I feel like there's a way we can do this. We can organize this. We kind of off the fly, off the top of our heads. But I feel like we can go ahead and get Byron in Detroit and let's get some things happening before football season starts. Child, we're here for it. So your girl, Amanda, we talked about her yesterday too, because she was over here making her little Netflix parody video. And, we we thought it's ridiculous, Amanda, for you to think that people that you talk shit about to invite you on a tour with them. That doesn't make sense. But Amanda, you know, she's annoying, but she's not stupid, and she knows exactly what she's doing. And it seems like she's involved herself in the conversation, whether they want her there or not. It says, where fault has been made, the choice to redeem and restore for the greater goal is one that matriarchal leadership is always called to pursue. What? It is a matriarchal leadership that will guide us out of toxic individualism and towards the communal consequences required to chase them crazy bald heads out of town. Does anybody know what she's talking about? Because I don't know what she's talking about. Did she come with like a translator? Anyway, she made her little Netflix video, and now once again, like she did with Cheyenne, now she's saying, y'all just take everything too far. It was just a joke. Okay, it was a joke, and we responded. So here's what she has to say.
At first, I was like, y'all are taking this insecure thing too far. Like, it's my experience. Otherwise, it felt like, what's the point? However, seeing the visceral response from fans brought me all the way back to when I took the Black popular culture class that Professor Donna Ayin Davis taught at SUNY Purchase. And she really drilled home that art for Black folks, particularly in the United States, is not simply just about entertainment. It is political because it is our representation, and in our own voice, that is something that we rarely get. So our characters and our stories are not simply just meant to entertain. They are literally meant as proof of life. And so that made me say, okay, I need to talk about this further, but in a greater context. Let's talk about the difference between lack and abundance. A lack conversation is, why would Amanda expect to be invited to the Insecure reunion? An abundance conversation is, why were amends not made so that Amanda would be present at the Insecure reunion?
I'm going to pause right there. Why were amends not made so that Amanda can be present at the Insecure reunion? So Amanda wants these people who she came out of her mouth every chance she got. She talked about Issa Rae. She talked about other people involved with the cast. She talked about them people to the point where none of them want to be bothered with her. But she thinks the onus is on them to make amends with her so she can be on the tour, rather than just saying, we don't mess with her and she don't mess with us, and so we're not doing that. I don't know why Amanda feels like, was her character that impactful?
Ultimately, a reunion tour for a TV show would be all about pleasing the fans of that show. That's the goal. And I would suggest that the fans of a show want to see the characters that they have aligned with. There are many people who have said they didn't give a damn about Tiffany. However, I know, because I experience it on a regular basis, there are so many women in particular, mothers in particular, who very much aligned with Tiffany's journey through postpartum depression and really connected with me, like in person, to say thank you for portraying that in such a realistic way.
So I don't know if y'all watched Insecure, but her postpartum depression was when she left her baby behind and went and stayed at a hotel. She left her husband to take care of her baby. That was her storyline. That was not an abundance question. It was still a question of lack. No, she would be there probably to debate with you, because there's only one point of view, and it's Amanda's point of view. She did not once bring up the fact that, you know, she talked about her experience. She did, and she had every right to do that. But Issa Rae also has a right to be like, I've not heard Issa Rae say nothing about Amanda. After Amanda went on every platform that she could find herself on, and she cried and whined about how she didn't get invited to the party, and she went anyway, and you didn't get into the party, you knew that the host of the party don't like you, don't mess with you, don't want you there. You plus one yourself in there. And they was like, no, bitch, we didn't invite you because we don't want you here. We've heard the story. We sat up and was like, dang, that was a lie. But they could have let her go to the party. But, you know, that was most people's stance, I feel like. That was a lot, kicking her out. What was she going to do? Da-da-da-da. You know what I mean? I feel like, man, Amanda had people like on her side. Like, she was a part of the show. Why would they make it such a big deal? And, you know, Issa ain't said nothing. Issa's taking a page from Oprah handling Monique. Yeah, and Monique is still out here squawking. And I think Oprah at this point is like, bitch, go away. Like I said, I believe, you know, she's right. It was her experience. She had every right to share it. It seems as though every experience that that Amanda has, it ends up with people not wanting to fool with her. Every time Amanda tells a story about where she worked and what the experience was, the people didn't like her because she's not very likable. And if you listen to her page, if you follow her page and you listen to her rant, I used to follow her page. I had to unfollow her because I was like, this lady is always coming over here with a bunch of nonsense and pretending to be woke. They call her a grifter. And I didn't know like if that's how I would describe her at first. But Amanda definitely has grifter tendencies. A grifter is a con artist or a scammer who swindles people out of money or assets through fraud, lies, or deceit rather than by force. Instead of physically stealing, they manipulate victims who willingly handing over their property or money. I think that's what she does. I think because she's very smart. You know, my mother used to say the worst kind of character is a liar who mixes in the truth. And it gets confusing for people. When you have a liar that's very good at mixing in the truth, it makes for a believable story. And I think that's what Amanda does over here. And because she's far more intelligent than the average person, you know, I feel like people, you know, are easily influenced by somebody like Amanda. Unless, you know, for me,
I can't front.
It's more like if it don't feel right, if something don't sound right, then, you know, I kind of shy away from it, even if I don't have all the answers. We need to stop asking I'm looking at this comment here. We need to stop asking the excluded person to prove that the invitation would have mattered. She the one brought it up though. She's the one, she did the Netflix thing. And once she did that, it caused a conversation. Amanda knew that. Amanda knew that her doing the little Netflix parody will get the conversation going. Amanda is she's fake woke as far as I'm concerned. This is my opinion. She's a fake woke individual who basically is, I don't know if she's a grifter, but she definitely heavily capitalism over here, even though she you know, will scream from the mountaintops that ain't it, but that's exactly it.
At first I was like, y'all are taking this insecure thing too far. Like it's my experience. Otherwise it felt like, what's the point? However, seeing the visceral response from fans brought me all the way back to when I took the Black popular culture class that Professor Donna Ayin Davis taught at SUNY Purchase. And she really drilled home that art for Black folks, particularly in the United States, is not simply just about entertainment. It is political because it is our representation, and in our own voice, that is something that we rarely get. So our characters and our stories are not simply just meant to entertain. They are literally meant as proof of life. And so that made me say, okay, I need to talk about this further, but in a greater context. Let's talk about the difference between lack and abundance. A lack conversation is, why would Amanda expect to be invited to the Insecure reunion? An abundance conversation is, why were amends not made so that Amanda would be present at the Insecure reunion? Ultimately, a reunion tour for a TV show would be all about pleasing the fans of that show. That's the goal. And I would suggest that the fans of a show want to see the characters that they have aligned with. There are many people who have said they didn't give a damn about Tiffany. However, I know, because I experience it on a regular basis, there are so many women in particular, mothers in particular, who very much aligned with Tiffany's journey through postpartum depression and really connected with me like in person to say thank you for portraying that in such a realistic way. Which is also why, you know, the performance of stories on screen is so imperative, because people, humans, we need to be seen. On a larger scale, I'm always thinking of how do I show up in abundance versus lack. I didn't always think that way. However, as I have grown, particularly in the last 3 years, spiritually, intellectually, communally, that has definitely been a shift. And the difference between lack and abundance is important because lack is patriarchal and it deals with the failure to see growth, to see expansion on a communal level. So abundance, on the other hand, is matriarchal and is about restoration. And so the difference is imperative to how we even view our role in resistance on a much bigger scale. While I have you, if you'd like to hear me talk about things on a abundance level, you can check out my new radio show on Tavis Smiley's KBLA Talk 1580. I'll be there every Friday with the Summer of Seals from 12 to 2 p.m. Pacific and 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific. And you can check me out by downloading the KBLA Talk 1580 radio app or listening on YouTube. Hope to see you there, or hear you there, I should say, where we can talk about abundance and how to get out of the lack state that this capitalist, imperialist empire has got us in. I can't front this insecure thing too far. Like,
I find it funny that she ended on that. She says she wants to have a conversation about abundance to, you know, get people out of the capitalist, imperialistic society that, you know, these people have us in. Amanda's having a hard time dealing with Issa's rejection. She was talking about making amends. Did she reach out? Did she ever reach out to Issa? Issa ain't answering her calls. Did she ever reach out to any of them to see if there any amends could be made, or is the onus only on Issa because it's her show and she decided I'm gonna go on tour, but I ain't fooling with Amanda because, you know, I want this to be a positive thing. And having her around is going to ruin it for everyone. Can she address the issue with her character on her channel? She can. She can. She could go on a tour just like them. Just like them. Every time, as soon as the tour starts, she could take her opportunity to talk about Tiffany and her journey through postpartum, which, you know, Insecure hasn't been on it so long. I forgot. She's a soldier for Pan-Africanism. Another Malcolm. Hope they don't off her too. I think she's a capitalist, imperialist, the same thing that she's accusing other people. I'm sorry. Lotus just asked Jatoni if he had indulged in some pufferfish. Maybe he should. Yep, unregulated capitalism is a crime. Look around. We need a maximum wage on rich. Making $32 million a year is ridiculous. Well, your girl over here is a capitalist and an imperialist, and she's full of shit. She said over here giving this misinformation about lack and abundance, and then she's tried to sell you to come check out her new radio show. So Tavis Smiley, you know, has given her a shot. I feel like she gets a shot because she's got a following of people. What's up, Jatoni? Who still want to listen to her ass. But, you know, speaking of ass, Amanda actually has an abundance of ass, and she's not afraid to use it to sell you some t-shirts. This is the type of thing, you know, Amanda does. After she sits up here and talks about abundance and things, she wants to show you her abundant ass To all my phony filter, radically real folks who are often ostracized for speaking straight about sideways systems and situations, give them your ass to kiss and keep on fighting at high vibrating. I'm not gonna play this music, but here she is. Amanda came over here, to show her that she what she working with. She got a nice body. I ain't gonna be mad at her. Amanda Seales is over here being thicker than a snicker with her ass, showing y'all her ass to kiss. Comment booty to get the direct link to her album. You can get the link to her album. You can listen to it now, Amanda.com, and you can get you a t-shirt. What is this? Is this like, I thought she was above this. But here she is using her ass, her actual ass, to sell t-shirts. She said she aired out all the dirty laundry of Issa and her frustrations with the project. She basically burned her bridges. When you say that shit. Say that shit. When you say that shit, you got to be able to stand on it. And this is the funny thing. Amanda's little feelings are very fragile for her to have so much mouth. She needs a redeemed hoodlum to, shoot your shot, Jatoni. She's giving her, she got a lot of ass over there, if that's what you like. You know what I'm saying? She denies Christ. Well, she's not the only one. A lot of people do. Yeah, when I saw this, I was like, she did this whole speech. Then she came over here because we've been talking about her busted, dusty dreads. She still look dusty as far as I'm concerned. That's a pretty little caftan she got on. But yeah, check out her ass and then buy her t-shirt because that's what she's over here selling. I was like, girl, she been hanging out with her good friend Cheyenne too long. When the people talk about you, put a bikini on, see what they have to say. Amanda's missing out on having OnlyFans. Child, she don't need it. I guess her fans will buy that t-shirt, but I was like, yeah, this lady talk about capitalism, follows up with a booty shot and a t-shirt promotion. Okay, girl. Amanda, go and get. Let me get away from her page because I don't want to keep clicking on her things. I'm not here to sell any of her stuff. Child, imagine you go to the store. This is in Tennessee. These people went down to the store, to the mall, when you getting out of your car or getting in your car, and there's a whole bear running around in the parking lot. These people are at the Tennessee parking lot, and there's a bear running around. People trying to get in their car.
Oh my God! Get in your car! Get in your car! Get in your car! Oh, don't be a. He's trying to film him. Oh, he's right there. Oh my God! These two right here. Bear! They've got a dog.
That is wild. These animals are out of control. When I think of Tennessee, I don't think of bears. We got bears around here, not in my area, although there's everything else, but mostly on the other side of the city. I don't really be thinking of bears in Tennessee, but that's a busy ass parking lot. That bear is just wandering around. I also seen a video. I didn't save it, but there was a bear at the top of a telephone pole. He just hanging up there because he couldn't get down, and the people said, yeah, they couldn't come get him. He gonna have to figure his way down. You said regular dudes can't mentally handle a sister with brains, but they hit it as hard as they can. I don't know. I feel like most dudes really don't care so much about brains. All she's got to do is, show off her ass and, yeah. Yes, Tennessee is very mountainous. I just don't know why I think about bears, but obviously there are bears around, even in the parking lot. Now there's bears, but I don't think they got kangaroos. So imagine you getting ready to go to work and you got a gang of kangaroos perched out in front of your crib. This is a regular neighborhood. Looks like it's trash day because everybody's skin is out to the curb. So, massive kangaroos stood guard on the sidewalk in Lake Mercury in New South Wales. So this, it's not in the United States, but child, these is the whole thing. What you gonna do if you gotta go to work and it's a bunch of daggone kangaroo like they done came through the neighborhood? He's standing up there like damn Debo. Here's more. They're everywhere. This one just came bouncing from across the street. What is happening in front of this house that the kangaroo are gathering here? There's even one that goes bouncing around in the background. So it's all up and down the street. Is this normal? I'm not familiar, but is this normal? Do the kangaroos just be out like basically posted up in front of the people's houses? That's scary as hell. That kangaroo looked like he'll bust a hole in the side of your car. Child, you saw a video last week of a bear who had gotten in someone's car in Tennessee and was surrounded by several of her babies. That's what you don't want. Maybe she had to take them kids somewhere. That's what you don't want, is to be around a bear and her cubs. That's the worst case scenario to be in. I saw some people in Yellowstone getting taken out. Somebody's grandfather was getting tossed around by a bison. Whew. These animals must know something we don't know. They tired of this shit too. They done come and knocking on people's door like, can y'all do something about these fools down to the White House? Maybe they should go to the White House. Maybe that's what we need. Send them daggum kangaroo down to the White House. Anyway, y'all, I'm gonna end it on this note. For all you men out there that don't know how to keep your peeing in your pants, for all of you men out there to be down to the internet doing too much, you said I would be taking plenty of PTO if I seen a kangaroo standing outside the curb. All you can do is send the video to your work and be like, I can't make it today because, Debo and his whole family is out here holding the neighborhood down and I'm scared. Yeah, this is for all you men that can't keep it together. Don't find yourself down to the internet having to apologize. This man been out here acting a fool, and his woman, had to make sure he got straightened out and tell all you ladies that he is not available. So just so you know, he is no longer available.
Thomas spelled with a K. Anybody that is messaging, or if you are messaging me, please stop. I would never fuck with you or anyone else. I have a wife. Her name is Lenore.
Did you message them? If you message them, then you need to tell them that.
I
don't know why you're making me have to talk. When it's your dick did it.
If I message
you're gonna. So you're gonna roll your eyes?
No, baby, I'm not rolling my
Go
eyes.
ahead.
If I message anyone saying anything to you sexually, any other kind of way, hookups or anything, I promise you, it is not true. It is a lie. I have a wife. I am in love with. Her name is Lenore.
And why did you message him?
And when I did message you, it had to be because me and my wife was not together. But I am happily married, and I promise you and the rest of social media that you will never ever receive a message from me ever again in life. Please never message me. I am happily married. My name is Kyler Thomas.
Did I twist your arm to do this? Or did I just simply tell you?
No.
The same way that they don't know about me, then when I get a man, they don't even know about you. Ain't that the truth?
Sweetheart, no, what are you saying now, baby?
What I said to you earlier, you can keep them. You can have them.
I'm not, baby. Well, baby, hold on, Brandon. Come on, baby. You said,
I'm doing this because I want to. My name is Kyler Thomas, spelled with a K. Anybody that is messing, if you are messaging me, please stop. I would never fuck with you or anyone else. I have a wife. Her name is Ramona.
Y'all have a good weekend. I don't think there's anything I could do to follow up Tyler. Y'all enjoy your weekend. I will be back Monday. Actually, I will be back Saturday for episode 3 of Project Runway. So if you're a Project Runway fan, see me over here Saturday night at 8:00. In the meantime, y'all enjoy your weekend. I've had fun with you today. And see you when I see you. Bye, y'all.